Hello, beautiful being. I'm outside. It's windy and noisy and stuff, but there's such a lot going on out here. I got to show you, and then I go inside where it's quiet. So let me turn the camera around, and without mucking about too much, this is really the star of the show at the moment. The front garden does go quite wonderfully crazy at the start of, well, where are we? October. So we have all the sporexis going. Here I am, bright and colourful, multitudes of flowers. Here's something that's, I'm at the wrong side. You just got to see this because it's beautiful. Look at these little violets. Aren't they gorgeous? So yes, flowers and flowers and flowers, and we've got lilies coming up, and you can hear the tuis singing. And I should show you the kowhai because it's still covered in yellow blossom. And yeah, there's birds there, they're feasting. There's lots of nectar in the flowers, so lots of tui jumping around, singing, fighting, doing what tui do. But there they are. So I'm just going to show you the spring garden. And clearly there are flowers. I let the cineraria go crazy. I'll have to pull them all out or cut them down when they've sort of finished, but it's just beautiful, and they smell really nice. I didn't know that about cineraria. And look, the bluebells are being fantastic. And the roses are looking the best that they'll look all year because the fungus haven't got to the foliage yet. But hey, I'm enjoying that. So yeah, there's flowers everywhere and things. I mean, I moved these, which is why they look a bit scruffy. But the magnolia is coming out. And well, it's a magnolia. I don't need to really say any more than that. It's beautiful. And look, there's the sun coming through. And this magnolia, see, it's had its top taken out. The winds here are pretty strong now, and I just made a decision that I wanted my arborist to take some of the bigger trees down and make them smaller. And you know, this tree, see, it's got a really thick trunk now. It's getting bigger, of course, but it gets pruned. You can see it's been pruned because I don't want it to be so big. Hi, sweetie. I don't want it to be so big that it becomes a problem. So yeah, we're just outside. I'm showing off the front garden because it really is at its most spectacular. And there it is, and the tui is singing, and that's lovely. And I should actually show you. Wendy, it's you. I thought, I know that face, but I'm not going to make an idiot of myself and guess. There's stuff happening over here as well. This is a place that I replanted. Look at these violas. They're just crazy. Just covered in flowers and flowers and flowers. And unfortunately, the sedum was growing so well, the winds have destroyed it. I've got to take it out. And there are a few things growing here that shouldn't be, so I've got to take those out as well. But look at this. I've been planting bulbs in big sort of spirally fern frond shapes. So this is the first year that they've actually been like that. I completely dug this bed out and replanted it. G'day, Athanasios. It's lovely to see you. And there are tulips here, but I moved them and I didn't like that, so only one of them's flowered. But it's a fabulous tulip, so enjoy that. You're thinking, why she got bottles in here? Because there are things inside them that if they don't have a bottle around them, they get eaten before they can get away. And I want them to survive. So yeah, that's the garden. It is very beautiful out here, and I want you to see it. Hello, Julian, great to see you. I'm going to turn the camera around now and go inside and give you an update on God of me. What am I talking about? It's not actually that windy out here, is it? I'll do it out here. So today, I don't quite feel like the person who's picked up by 1 foot and shaken until all the coins fall out of my pockets, but I do a little bit. There's been a certain amount of chaos in my life for the last little while, and it's all good, but it's distracting. And I had to just take a little time this morning that I would have normally spent writing, and just tidy a few things up because there are things happening this afternoon. I needed to sort shit out. There you go, said it. So I did that, and then I sat down and I realised that my brain was switched. I was switched. If you look up that in terms of applied kinesiology, it's not a nice feeling. It always makes me feel like screaming and climbing the wall. And I start to recognise that feeling now, so I unswitched myself and stopped wanting to climb the wall, which was really good. can't tell you how good. And then I got myself into the workspace and did what I've started to realise I'm going to need to do, which is to get myself back in the headspace. And I have to look through the documents that I've written, content for a website. Oh, hello, passing through the quadrant. Yes, go to sleep, sleep well. So I get myself back in the headspace and think, now where am I writing today? And I actually tweaked a few little things, and then I got to the piece that I was doing last week about making habits, and I titled that thing Making and Breaking Habits, but actually it's only about making habits. Breaking habits, before you can talk about breaking habits, you actually have to understand how we learn things and how we unlearn things. And so I've started breaking that out. I started pulling apart how do we learn things, because somebody teaches you and you learn them. Yeah, but how does that actually happen inside your head? There's a process that goes on. And so I'm starting to put thoughts in place. And yes, I've learned a whole lot of stuff from the only man who's ever truly inspired me, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he's got this beautiful, simple model for change, for personal change. And I'm not trying to replicate that, because he's doing such a fantastic job doing what he's doing. What I'm doing is taking what I've learned and putting it in a different voice and in a different medium. It's going on a website, and it's for a different audience. It's for people who are basically underprivileged, may have very little education. They need to be able to speak and read English, and they need to have a smartphone. But I want to get the core of the information that I've learned, which has totally transformed and transforming my life, into a medium where they can at least access the very basic core of it and start to understand for themselves that if their life is hard and things are difficult and they feel bad, that they might just have a choice about whether they're going to keep on feeling bad, or maybe they can make a change, even though life is going to carry on. Because and I wrote this question, I actually wrote it, I wrote it out and articulated it in a way that was just really clear just before. And I wrote this question, and then I wrote in brackets after it, oh my God, this is the question that I didn't even know I needed to ask. But this is the question that's kept me prisoner for 53 years. And I say 53 years because it was 4 years ago that I discovered Dr. Joe's work and started getting some answers. And the question, which I probably can't quite remember, but the question was along the lines of, if I've got into a habit of feeling bad, of feeling sad, of feeling unhappy, of feeling miserable, and I had, by the way, but I didn't even know it, it was just normal for me to feel that way. Is it possible that I'm not good at feeling happy because I'm really good at feeling something else? And is it possible that my feelings are a habit and that habit can be changed? And I honestly did not know that. And I had no idea, so, think a happy thought and feel differently. It's like, piss off. I don't know how. Nikki Guppies, good to see you. I didn't know how to change. And so getting this information that, yeah, okay, I have a habit and I can change it, but actually, how does that process work? And how can I do it? Was just so big. And I just had a moment writing that question and thinking, oh my God, that's the question that I thought it wasn't possible to change in the middle of my circumstances. Which, by the way, most people would consider heaven on earth. But for me, I had this habit. And I could tell you all the reasons why I felt the way I felt. But now I understand what's going on in my brain and my body and how that functions, I'm able to change it. So, having more or less finished to my satisfaction with a really simple but clear and hopefully relatively complete explanation of what habits are and how we form them. It takes 3 brains to make a habit. Hi, Christine! You don't just make a habit by thinking you thought you're going to do it over and over and over again until it becomes memorized and habitual and normal and you don't even think about it. So I explain all that. And then, okay, so how do you change it? How do you break a habit? How do you change If you have a habit of feeling like crap all day long and you want to feel different, and you actually can accept the thought that happiness is a skill, which for me was this revolutionary idea that was like, you're joking. What? And so to explain that and make sense of that, you have to start talking about how we make a habit, but at a neurological level, what happens. And so I was just looking on the internet for little clips, and there are a few that show neurons sprouting connections. You know, you have a neuron here and you have one there, and you watch them in real time and they reach out and they make a link. And that's a memory. When neurons connect, they're storing a memory of some kind or another. And if you keep doing that, you know, if you can imagine these little fingers, and they're alive and they're wriggling and they're moving, but they make connections. You know, there's just one neuron connecting with another neuron. But if you keep thinking the same thought and feeling the same feeling that goes with the thought, because you can't have a thought without having a feeling, period, that's just how it is. What starts off as one neuron connecting with another one can become, it's like Grand Central Station, you know, everything connects there and there's all this energy going through that connection, and it gets really strong. It's like, you know, you start with a little dirt track, and over time it becomes a well-trodden path, and then it becomes, you know, somebody decides to put metal on it, and then somebody decides to pave it, and then, you know, it has two lanes and then four. It becomes a highway inside our brain. So I've got to explain all that, and then I've got to explain how you undo that. And I'm speaking from personal experience here because, like I have been mentioning, and I haven't really understood it because I have been working, ever since I started Joe Dispenza's work, I've been working to create abundance inside myself. And you know, we all start off thinking, oh, I want money, but actually I just want to feel that I can make it. I want to feel that I can do it. I want to feel abundant. I want to feel safe. I want to feel calm. I want to feel all these things that if I had money, I said to myself, you know, if I had money, I'll feel like that. No, I'm going to feel like that, and then the money will find me. Strangely enough, it kind of is. But I still have so much stuff come up. But as I have worked, the point I'm making is, as I have worked to systematically, over years, scale away at my 8-lane highway that led to the land of feeling lackful and sad and frustrated and I can't do this no matter what, you know, it's probably down to a 2-lane road now. But I have discovered so many things I didn't know about myself that I believed. And it's been a process because it was so powerful and so strong. And so I've gone from an 8-lane highway to a 2-lane highway. But you imagine digging up an 8-lane highway. That takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of work. It took a while to put it down. It's going to take a while to dig it up again. And then you're going to make new pathways somewhere else. Pathways that lead to happiness. Pathways that lead to feeling like you can create wealth for yourself. Pathways that lead to feeling like you're safe to have wealth. Whatever it is, you know. So this has to happen inside our brain. This is how we go from being a habitually angry person to being a habitually calm person. Whatever it is you want to be. And it's really a lot easier to understand why it's so hard and how you get through it when it is difficult if you know what's going on inside your brain and your body. Because then when you feel like climbing the walls, and you're not switched, because I was this morning, but you know, then when you feel like you're climbing the walls or it's difficult or it's really intense in there and you think, oh God, this is so hard, if you understand why it's hard, it's easier to keep going. And beyond that, there's going to come a point when I have written enough of the words where I'm going to start developing exercises and things that will give people a real experience of what it is to change. Incrementally, little by little, step by step, things in small bites. Because people who live in perilous circumstances without much money, they may be a street kid. Who knows how much time or safety they have to study and to learn. But if I can make it safe and possible for them to learn, easy, well, maybe they can just learn to create something inside themselves and change the way they feel and change their lives. Because you can't think a new thought until you change your feeling. Have you ever tried to tell someone who was really angry about something and you knew what the answer was, but they were so angry you told them you need to do this and that? It just can't go into the brain. because the solution isn't equal to the fact that they just want to rip someone's head off. It's neurologically impossible. You have to wait for people to calm down before you give them the solution they really want. So for these people who are in a difficult situation, and there's many of them, and there's many of them in the so-called first world as well. It's just that, you know, if I can do it for those people there in Asia and Africa and wherever else, then anybody in the first world who finds this useful is going to be able to use it as well. I know that. Then I'm winning. So that is the vision, that is the goal, and that is the little piece that I've been focusing on this week, and I expect I will still be working on it next week. I'll just flesh it out some more, and I'll be able to tell you how I fleshed it out. So yeah, that's the journey. And if you want, take a look on Patreon. My link is in the intro to this video. See what I'm doing. I would love your support. I have just sent Patreon a message because it's supposed to be a follow for free or a join for free button that you can push now, and it's not there. It's like, well, where is it, guys? I'd love to be able to offer this to people, because the beauty of doing things on Patreon is that it's an ad-free space, it's quiet, and you don't get stuff pushed at you. You just go and see the people you want to see and what they're doing. So I'm going to enjoy offering that to you. And if you get excited about what I'm doing and you'd like to support me, well, there's a low monthly membership, which would be just beautiful for me to have you involved in. And there will be special things for my patrons. I'm still figuring out how it all works, but I've been mucking around on Patreon for a little while, so I'm finding my feet. And going live here is one of those things. So I look forward to seeing you there. It's free, it doesn't cost anything to look, and I will see you next week to tell you how I've got on with the story of explaining learning and unlearning, because that's how we change. And when we change ourselves, our lives change too, and that's what it's all about. This is Lara. I've just got time to say hi. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I'll be back next week, same time. Bye-bye for now.